If you were to ask me what my favorite game for the Sega Genesis is, there's no question of what my pick would be. That of course being Shining Force. To describe this game in only one word, I might say cozy. In a sea of titles that aim to challenge the players in making the best possible move at every moment of interaction, this game is content to champion its simplicity. Such a trait makes Shining Force unique, becoming an enjoyable time for beginners and experts alike. Shining Force is one of the classic grandfathers of the genre. Its initial release was on March 20th of 1992. This means it was predated by Fire Emblem and Langrisser. One clear look at the game, and one can tell that it took a lot of influence from Fire Emblem. Except, apparently not? Shining Force's producer Hiroyuki Takahashi claimed that Fire Emblem was not an influence. I don't buy it though. Between the narrative and game mechanics, there are far too many similarities that make me skeptical it held no influence over Shining Force's development, even if its inspiration was coming up with ways to improve upon Fire Emblem's flaws. Let's remember that this was a time when Nintendo and Sega were aggressively competing against each other, so it might have been in poor form to praise the other company for any successes. I can't say for sure though, that was a bit before my time. Regardless, Fire Emblem fans will feel right at home playing Shining Force. Characters are positioned on a grid and can attack opponents with a variety of different weapons and spells. Every single unit has their own strengths and weaknesses, giving players options to consider on who will fit their playstyle the best. You don't have to worry about weapons breaking from limited durability. However, magic casters do have to think conservatively, as they only have so much MP to use during a battle. But thankfully, MP will be less of a concern for these characters as the game progresses. As characters gain experience, they will level up and increase their stats, making them more potent fighters in the future. There is a specific quirk about Shining Force 1 that I find absolutely entertaining. To some extent, a character's stat increases are randomized. You could get an even spread of statistics, or you could get a whole bunch of points in one area and nowhere else. So you'll never truly know what bonuses a character is going to get after crossing the threshold, making the process of leveling up very exciting. Now I will admit that Shining Force definitely shows its age in certain aspects. One of the more annoying quirks of this game comes in regards to item management. Characters only have 4 item slots for all of their supplies. That's not really the problem though. The problem is that whenever you pick up a new item from a chest and Max's inventory is full, he'll put the item back right where he found it. So you're constantly going to have to pass off the items Max picks up and offload them onto someone else. This is especially baffling since there are a lot of chests that can be packed close together at times. I'd say the inventory management is only slightly better than Fire Emblem 1, but they both falter in completely different ways. Something that keeps me from desiring a revisit to this game time and time again is the map design. Oh my goodness, there are so many maps in this game that flood the area with difficult to traverse terrain that just grinds the pace. They show up early too and remain a consistent theme throughout the game. I think every chapter has at least one, so you can't escape it. And if you get unlucky and Max gets double attacked on the final enemy, God help your weary soul. This might have been avoided if not for the way turns are selected. My least favorite aspect of the battle system is that there's no distinction between player and enemy phase. You have a character you must move, then whoever has the next highest agility stat will take their action, be they friend or foe. Shining Force can be a bit weird about who gets the next action. Sometimes a particular enemy can get multiple actions in while a character on your roster hasn't been able to move for a while. Since you also don't really have a say in who moves first, this can lead to some unfair deaths of allies, especially if your player units miss or the enemy gets to use a double strike in their attack phase. However, I can forgive Shining Force for using this method for a particular reason. Much like in Dragon Quest, if a party member falls in battle, you can visit a church to revive them, as well as cure other status effects. Now there is still a punishment, after all you need to spend money to revive characters, and if Max the hero loses his life, you'll automatically lose the entire battle and will need to start from the beginning. Not to mention you'll also lose half of your current gold. So if a challenging map is going poorly, it's better to just cut your losses and use the aggress spell to escape before you lose way more. But you also don't have to revive characters if you don't want to. You could treat this game as if it had permanent death, similar to Fire Emblem, and give yourself a challenge. That's what I love about Shining Force. Its accessibility is also an avenue for versatility and playstyle. But the thing that truly sets Shining Force apart from almost every other game in the genre is that it feels like a true adventure. Your first moments of interaction aren't a battle, but exploring a town. You can walk around freely talking to NPCs, visiting shops, or seeking out characters to recruit. So whenever you aren't in battle, you're going to be talking to all the people you can find. There's also many humorous characters to meet. It's worth finding everyone you can just to see what jokes the developers placed around the world. But the game also encourages you to explore as well. There are many secrets to discover in Shining Force, from hidden items to new characters to recruit. In my first playthrough, I thought I was very thorough, and it turned out I missed half the secret characters. So if you want to find everything, it might be worth keeping a guide on standby. Or you can just play the game and make it your own adventure. I really like the town sections for this reason. It serves as a nice pace-breaker activity, being able to explore at your leisure. And that's what I love most about Shining Force. It's an SRPG you can truly take at your own pace. In fact, it's one of the most purely fun games in the genre. It has a kind of mood that you can just pour yourself a glass of wine, sit down, and enjoy it for as long or as little as you want. Even if I'm playing a part of the game where the design just didn't come together, I usually don't mind because I'm simply happy to play it. It's certainly an old and dated game, being among the first of its kind. But few games can ever hope to truly match the cohesive charm that Shining Force brings to the table. So if you're looking for a game that might serve as a great introduction into the genre, or you're an expert that needs a change of pace, there's probably something in Shining Force that you'll adore. In fact, the fun isn't going to stop here. While I don't have the insight to make a full retrospective of the entire Shining series, I do very much enjoy the Shining Force games. So keep your eyes on Swift Strategy, as over the next few months, I intend to cover all the various entries and showcase the evolution of this series, at least until Shining Force 3. I know the PS2 one isn't the same thing. So thank you for watching, and also a very happy 30th anniversary to my favorite Sega Genesis game.